Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. Welcome back to Elm Creek Farms, episode number 15. Moving right along with things that we need to get done. We are in a new game day. We're in mid-April. And so just to bring up our crop calendar here, we're sort of in that time frame where we kind of need to make a decision. Have we planted enough oats? Have we planted enough? We haven't planted sunflowers at all. We're not going to plant potatoes, sugar beets, or sugar cane. So we're kind of in this decision-making thing here regarding oats, really. And I think we have decided that we've got enough oats, um, and between the wheat and the oats that we have already planted that will come due to harvest soon, we're okay in those categories. My wife loves to see sunflowers growing. Now, of course, I love to see money in the bank, and but I believe what we're going to do, a happy wife is a happy life, right? So I'm sort of thinking that we're going to put sunflowers in field number 7. This way, sort of thinking ahead a little bit here, if we get enough silage or get enough chaff out of these two fields, field 1 and 4, and we allow 2 and 3, or maybe it's we allow 4, 5, and 6 to mature and harvest that, then we basically could do that around the same time if it's ready to harvest with the same header and everything, and be able to take care of that. Just sort of thinking ahead a little bit and into the game plan, and most likely we'd be looking at putting soybeans into field 8, and then also hopping over here and putting the balance of this field, which is kind of our greenhouse operations. But right now we've got enough greenhouses to keep us busy. But putting soybeans into field number 30 after we finish prepping that groundwork. So that would possibly be it. Now, looking at things, I know the guy that owns field number 31, and he's sort of on the fence right now as to whether or not he is going to plant anything on field 31. Um, if in the next couple of days he's supposed to let me know, so it's possible that we may just take his field from him. He also owns 32, 33, and 34. And so if we take 31, since it's so close to 30, we'd also put soybeans into field 31, and then we'll handle the field for him, and we'll return it to him in a state that is ready for him to do something with it, should he choose to do that next season. So just our little bit of planning there. All right, well, let's hop into our Fent here and spin the camera around. And let's go ahead, and we're going to go and connect to our cultivator up there, and get our tractor in the right gear. Now, something Bo, who is our part-time helper here on Elm Creek Farms, he is a whiz at electronics and such as that. And so I purchased GPS systems for all of our main tractors and combines recently. And so he has been working. We had him come in, and he has been working on getting those units installed in the tractors, in the combines, and everything that we have, um, that we need to have that done. So we have GPS functionality now, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it sweet? We can turn it on here with the press of a button, and we'll get that going momentarily once we get up to the field. So to come out of role play just a little bit, yes, that means Wobster has released his guidance steering mod for all of the masses to enjoy and love, and be able to do things in a straight line, starting from now. So that released on Friday, I believe the 10th. I think the 10th was on Friday. In the real world, I'm recording this episode. Not that it really matters, but in the real world, I'm recording this episode on the Saturday morning, the 11th. It is super quiet in the house. It's kind of early in the morning. The wife is still asleep, and I'm just down here doing a few things, getting this episode recorded, and probably will do a little bit of off-camera stuff just to move us forward a bit, and also still working on some of the challenges with simplysafemods.com, the website, getting it all going and getting it moved over to a new server and a new host, and hopefully much better service and support going forward. I don't have an ETA on when that work is going to get done. Um, it, what I've told everybody is, well, I've kind of used Giant's methodology here. I've sort of said in the next week or so, because I've still got a couple of weeks on my contract, and of course it's top priority to be able to keep the site up and running. And we've been having some performance issues with the website, and so obviously I am concerned about that. But in the same breath, um, I need to make sure that things are done right. All right, speaking of doing things right, let's go ahead and turn our GPS on. Now I have a Logitech G27 steering wheel, pedals, and shifter, and I've got 4 buttons at the top of the shifter that are sort of in the shape of a diamond. And I've just always programmed those 4 buttons for GPS functionality. The first one, the top one, turns GPS on and off. The one to the right, so like in the 3 o'clock position, if we think about a clock here, this one sets my auto width of my implement, whatever I have behind my tractor. So I just need to press that once. And then the one at, say, 9 o'clock, this one is what I use to set my A and B point. And then the bottom one at 6 o'clock is what I actually use to activate the course, or turn guidance steering on and off. So if I'm making a turn, I can click that button at the 6 o'clock position. It takes it out of GPS, and then puts it back in whenever I get ready to head on my path again. So we'll go ahead and lower the implement. And from what I can tell, and I'll finish that thought here in just a minute. So we'll start moving forward, and we'll drop our A in there like that, and try to be as straight as possible here, and then drop our B, and then lock ourselves into course. And I've always found that um, it's relevant, at least from what I understand. It's kind of dependent on the the angle, or the heading, I should say, that your tractor is facing. And so with a towed implement like this, it's a little harder to get it just perfectly straight. But kind of once you get a path set, then you just kind of stick to that, and then clean up any gaps that there might be. So we'll take it out of GPS, and we'll back up, and we'll go ahead and since the corn has not sprouted yet, we'll just make a little bit of a turn, and try not to damage the ground there. And then we'll put a headland or two down here at this end, and won't worry about GPS for that, because a short distance I can drive semi-straight. Um, Famous last words. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. I've kind of lost track as to when you're going to be seeing various videos. I can barely keep straight with the day of the week that I'm currently in and living in. That's a joke, but hope you all are having a fantastic time, whatever the date might be. Now, you might remember from yesterday's video, or episode 14, I should say, George got a little bit crazy on the cedar, and ended up over in the big field on the hill there, uh, planting corn. And of course that was okay, because that was always our intention, to put corn into that field. But AI has been working, I'd say, pretty good for me. I've always understood the limitations of AI, and quite honestly, My opinion about FarmSim 22 and AI. Is it better than 19? In some ways it is. In some ways it is. In other words, I will tell you that in the past, when you get a brand new game like this, like Farm Sim 22, and we don't have course play, and we're basically trying to play a farm that's a little ways from the store, from the shop, it takes an increasingly amount of time to get all of your vehicles to the location. That has been simplified with with the new with the new AI functionality, and it works really well. The only challenge I have found with that, with basically telling AI to run a course from the shop to the main farm area here, is sometimes if, like for example, with the wheel loader, I had an issue with him um, bringing the bucket back because I guess he saw that as something that was in front of his tractor, an obstacle, a blockage of some kind. That's kind of the only thing that I have seen that has been a little bit of a problem. The fields that I have here on Elm Creek Farms, some of them are square-ish. A couple of them are square, and so they tend to work that really well. I think what happened with George yesterday and why he kind of went from seeding, fields 4, 5, and 6 to jumping over there into field one is because when he came down that last pass on that far edge of the field, I guess AI just saw that that was continuation of the field, even though it's clearly not. Um, but in any event, it's okay because that's what we were going to put there anyway. And of course, it could have been disastrous if, and I'm not sure if AI would have actually done it. It might would have detected that there was something already planted in that field, but it could have been disastrous if we had a crop in that field and he got over there in that. But you just have to keep your eye on things. It would just be like if in the real world you hired, somebody to come out and do some work for you at your house. Unless you've used them before, unless you have experience with them, you're going to keep an eye on what they're doing, right? Because I mean, there's for multiple reasons. It could be, you don't want them stealing things out of your garage or something like that. But even taking that out of the equation, just ensuring that they are actually, that they know what they're doing and they're doing it to the way that you want it done. um, of course you would pay attention and you would monitor what they're doing, and you kind of just need to do that here as well. But anyway, enough about that. So we've got some excitement coming to Elm Creek Farms B&B in the next few weeks. We will be hosting an antique car show. We've got some folks that are interested in coming out to the farm area, and they're gonna do a drive from wherever they happen to live, nearby somewhere, and they're coming out and they're going to stay at our B&B for a weekend, and then show off their cars to the surrounding community. And so we're proud and honored that they chose us to stay, because I mean there is a little motel downtown and they could have done that there, but they sort of wanted the more relaxed rural setting, and we told them that, well, just keep in mind we will have, if they had done this in the fall or if they had done this in the wintertime, we certainly would have accommodated them and probably just let them park their cars out on a field. But I told them, by the time you guys show up, we'll have everything planted around the area. Of course, we're not talking about a huge number of cars, but yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. Excited for them to come out and be able to show their fancy cars here, and of course have them as paying guests. The B&B is certainly earning its keep, and of course, as I've said before, we are growing our tomatoes and lettuce and eggs and chickens and such for the purpose of being able to keep that as self-sufficient as possible. All right, well, what we've got going on here, obviously, we're going to kind of do things for this field like we did before. We're going to get George, and he's going to roll these rocks in. Again, where it's looking like I could be wrong. And as a matter of fact, George just showed up. So let's go ahead and get George set up in this John Deere with this roller. And then we'll continue what we're doing, but we'll have him rolling on the other side of the field, and hopefully we can keep fast enough pace where we don't get in each other's way. We'll just get this guy connected here. And no PTO shaft. But we're going to roll these, and then hopefully that will be all that will need to be done. I don't see any huge rocks, and again, that worked really well for us. That worked really well for us the last time that we did this. We'll just go ahead and hire him and let him go while we head over here, and yeah, these are small rocks, which is good news for us because that's less labor intensive, him driving and pulling that roller, than it is if he was pulling that rock picker, because that is a much slower process and all of that. Plus we have to then gather the rocks up and haul them up to the rock crusher. All right, we are almost done cultivating this field. Again, this field we're going to put sunflowers in just to appease, well, not really just to appease my wife. Sunflowers are a valuable commodity in the area, and so it will be worth our effort. Let's just put it that way. But as I told her, I said, well, you like to see sunflowers in the field. I like to see, money in the bank account, and I need to make sure that, whatever we do choose to go with is going to be something that is going to be worth the effort. And so she understands. Obviously, she likes to have money in the bank account as well. But now, one thing that in the previous episode we were spreading slurry, or liquid gold as, or black gold as I like to call it. One of the things that I did, because when I slurried, we did this field on camera, the field that we're cultivating now. Off camera, I did the field adjacent to it, field number 8, and I went ahead and used the functionality to apply a double dose of slurry, because I was looking at the inventory of what we had left over in slurry, and there's no need in carrying a huge amount through the summer months. So I wanted to go ahead and apply that, and so we've done that. Now, unfortunately, I didn't come up with that idea until after he had made one pass. So we've got one pass is 50%, and then everything else is 100% fertilization. So we will have to bring the sprayer over and do just that one strip, so that we can have the maximum yield. All right, well, it doesn't really make any sense to drive this back to the main farm, because we're going to go ahead and cultivate this field. We'll get this done off camera, and then come in probably with episode number what is 15, I think, or 16, wherever we are now. I can't remember. And then plant our sunflowers over here, and probably begin planting our soybeans here in this field. And then we'll regroup, and we'll handle the field down by the greenhouses at kind of at another stage. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for tuning in for another episode here of Elm Creek Farm, and very, very much appreciative. And hope you all are having a wonderful day, and hope everything is going well in your corner of the world. Take good care of yourself, and also take good care of those around you. And I'll be back here on Elm Creek Farms very soon. Bye for now.